time to podcast.
Oh, I didn't get enough sleep.
Hey, we're recording this on Spring Forward Day, and it doesn't matter. Wake up.
If your sleep was messed up this week by politicians meddling with your clock,
This is your place to come and listen to people complain about not getting ample sleep. First on the round is me, David. I made the mistake of this is actually funny. Last night I went to bed early because I was like, okay, I gotta be ready, the time change. And then my alarm went off at like 6:45, and I was like, oh, it's a time change. I can sleep back in a little bit. Oops. I can snooze. So I was late to church because I knew it was a time change day, but my 6 a.m. morning person did not recognize.
I was gonna say that's some serious morning brain in action.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
So hi.
Well,
Next.
Glad you're here. I'll go.
I'm glad I'm here too.
I'm Sam. I do street and community outreach, and I host a podcast with my friends. And I too am a victim of the daylight being saved today. I also woke up late. Not late enough to miss church like David, or to be late for church, but just late enough to not get as much out of my day as I wanted to.
Hey, shout out to our Arizona listeners. They don't have to deal with this.
Good for you guys.
Oh, that's a
Way to
good
take a stand.
foreshadowing of one of the emails that we're about to read today.
Well, there you go.
My name is Noah. I am a director of youth and local outreach in Atlanta, Georgia. I almost said seminary student, but
That's not true. You're not.
graduated
Mr.
that.
Graduate.
Yeah, finish that. Thanks for joining us for Staircase to Nowhere, your ministry culture podcast. Today, we've got a really fun conversation we're going to have on Christian art. So we hope you stick around. We like to fancy ourselves artists, or at least art critics these days.
Heck yeah.
And it's a user-requested topic that we're happy to oblige. You can send in yours.
Are we calling our
staircasepod.
listeners users? Is that it's a user requested topic? I don't think people are using our podcast.
We have the app we've sold people.
We don't have an app. We have a link tree. If you've been using our link tree,
What
sorry,
have
you were
I
giving
been paying for?
I don't think you're a user, dear listener. I think you're a listener.
Excuse me. The steppers? The
Yes,
stair
there it
steppers?
is.
Stair Stepper 3000.
Don't tread on me. Staircase.
Requested.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
Oh, that's good. That's
No
good.
snap on snack.
Yeah, user, listener, stepper requested topic, Christian art today. And we got some fan mail. If you want to send in your listener request, you can send us an email, staircasepod@gmail.com. We'll respond to you with ChatGPT, which I know is what you have to read for work now. But we'll send you a real one too, don't we?
Also, if it helps, Noah's the only one who has access to that email. So if you want to say something bad about Sam and myself,
We'll never hear it.
If it takes forever for us to get back to you, just know that is my fault. Do not blame Sam. He wants.
Wait, did we want to hard drop that tonight? That you are Staircase Pod?
I think. Yeah.
No. Oh no.
I also don't know if hard drop is a phrase that people use.
Yes,
But
it's the one the users use.
the users use the phrase.
Hard
That's a hard
launch.
drop.
Hard launch is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
You can do a drop or a hard launch. It's not a hard drop. That's when you're lifting and you just drop the weights.
Yeah. Gym guy gets it over here. All right.
Okay, he lives.
We've been talking. We gotta lock
Okay.
in, boys.
So we're gonna start with a listener that emailed in named David R. And just is so glad that we're back podding and that it's
Aw.
season 3. So here it is from David R. He said, "Hello, I missed you guys.
Thank you.
You don't know this yet, but we are pretty close. And I'm just so glad you're back."
Aw.
I feel that, man.
We're glad to have you.
I feel close to you.
Yes, no, this is how I feel with Conan O'Brien. So I'm glad. I literally had 2 dreams in a row about Conan.
Were you watching the Oscars or something?
I did watch the Oscars just to see him.
Oscar the
As
Watchers.
most people did.
But anyway, I'm glad that you feel this way about us, David. Not David Neal, David R. He said, I'm so excited for a new Neil. We need more Neils in the world, and that's a fact. I know this
David
from
Neal.
experience.
John Wesley Neal.
Boy Neil, right?
We'll
Or is it
see.
girl Neil? Girl Neil.
TBD. Hard
you-
drop
if you-
coming soon.
If you're curious, I'll show you right now.
Carp, darling. Come over
Okay,
here.
it's that now you
He
see.
didn't. Okay, he didn't show
didn't-
anybody. Don't worry.
Nothing happened.
You didn't miss anything.
In that glass down there.
All right, back to David R. Big congrats to the Smarty Pants. That's me. Now I can take what he says seriously.
You're a lot bigger than
Lastly, as influencers, you should always have a big life update. At the very least, make something up. How else am I going to connect with you?
it takes something
Jake.
I think
Yeah,
that was-
Sam, you had a
I
big
think
life
that was-
update.
more to it
Go
than
ahead.
there really is.
Sort of like
Yes.
Big Bass Bill
I
does to his hair.
am pregnant.
Oh
What's wrong to gossip?
Sam is pregnant.
that's a
No,
that's
that's
a
not
drop.
true.
That's a
That
drop.
is not
Miracle.
true. I can't lie to the users. I'm not.
Users?
I was just having a
Abuser.
Oh,
That was
said
me.
now-
I'm coming to this table with no life updates this season, but it's fine.
Someday.
One day.
Now a life update from David, since we are friends.
Aw.
My family moved back to Indiana over the summer, and I listened to all of season 1,
Welcome to
and I
the
caught
great
up with
state.
season 2 live in September while painting our new house. Does that
Aw.
indicate I'm a very slow painter?
It indicates
Yes,
you're
indeed.
a good painter.
Mm.
Precision and accuracy. I bet you
Yeah.
didn't even use a drop cloth.
Yeah. Bro used no tape, cuts in, free.
He actually rolled the whole house. Didn't even cut.
That's
Whoa.
Yeah.
all right. Keep it going. We got a new.
You might be wondering who I am. I actually attended the Taylor University with David and lived in the same dorm as him.
That's a callback.
Aw. Love it.
I actually even attended the same high school as he did.
Oh my
And-
goodness.
I even convinced him to run cross country in middle school with me.
Worst best
Wow.
decision of my life.
Mm.
Side note, has he ever told you about his ambulance experience at the meet in Wabash? It's a good one.
David has never told us about the ambulance experience in Wabash.
Yeah, what happened to the meet
Say,
in Wabash?
say that word one more time. Wampash.
I'm repeating what I heard. Wabash,
What?
right?
It's telephone.
Is it?
If you wanna hear that
Spell
story,
it.
you have to go to our special subscriber.
Oh yeah, for our bonus
Yeah.
for our Patreon
our bonus
subscribers.
user Patreon.
It's the password is Wombash.
If you can spell it, you're in. Okay, I don't know if he wants.
What happened,
I can't.
David?
Trying to
too
read
long.
it.
It's genuinely too long of a story. I'll have to.
All right,
tell
we'll
you
do
another
a we'll
time.
do a story time episode another time, just with.
Follow up.
On my
Yeah.
my episode. The how do you or not how do you do? I forget the name of our podcast or episodes.
Yeah, it's how
Our-
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Additionally, Mr. Neil Sr. taught me how to drive stick shift in David's Jeep. Is that thing still alive?
Hard no. It definitely the frame rusted out and we sold it at auction. And
Nice.
I think I got like $6,000 for it. So
What? With the
That's
rusted out
crazy.
frame?
take it to the auction. I mean
Wow.
the engine was fine. Great.
Them Jeep owners will buy anything. Am
They
I right?
literally yes.
Okay.
They do anything to get some rubber ducks.
Yes.
This
All
was
you
pre-duck.
Um,
So
PD pre-duck.
Well,
pre-duck.
David said, I got a 15-minute lesson on stick shift, so that should be enough, right? Also, it's a travesty that David's dad, Pastor Neil, has not been on the pod yet.
I agree.
It's true. We agree. We
He doesn't
concur.
return our phone calls.
I've called him every day. He never answers.
He's a tough
I
man
think
to
he's
get.
avoiding me.
He's not cheap. He's got.
Yeah.
It's expensive to get him on a pod.
He's
35
Methodist
pastoring, like-
Presbyterian, okay? He's a busy man.
Yeah, he's got to pastor like 20 churches.
And run an antique store. He's a real life Mr. Whitaker. All right.
Out of curiosity, do you pay him $1 every time you mention him?
No, he pays me $1 for that too.
Wow. Now that you know who I am, I have to say that I sincerely have been challenged by the pod. Unfortunately, I don't have people in my life since moving that I can have these types of deep theological discussions with, so it's been refreshing for me. I love to pitch the topics with my wife and hear her thoughts because she is also a smarty. See, that's what we always want. We want you to take these conversations into your real life communities.
Yes, and
Especially
amen.
the smart people.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel for you moving to a new place and not feeling like you have those friends yet. So I hope you're able to find that soon. And I'm glad your wife still loves talking to you about it. We attended the Trinity Church in Arizona leading up to 2020.
Which
guys
church
know-
is that?
That's Mark
That's-
Driscoll's church.
That's Mark Driscoll's
Hey, we've
church.
talked about him on this podcast.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
The second we mention him, like the views go way up.
Wait, so we
I
need to
just
put
feel-
him in the title, and we'll get
At the title, we got an email from former church member of Mark Driscoll.
And then watch those streams roll in.
Yeah.
People
It's
be like,
crazy how it
What?
works.
What
Mark
did he
Driscoll
say?
listened to it himself.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be crazy to get an email. Anyway, David said, unfortunately, I have some church hurt. Even 5 years later, that has continued to make it challenging to truly connect at church. Even though we were both raised in the church and know what good models look like, we still recognize we've been affected by our experience. We can only imagine how much harder it would be for someone who didn't have the same Christian upbringing that we had. If you feel up for it, what are your thoughts on church hurt and how to cope and deal with that? Obviously, you're not therapists, and a podcast should not replace physical relationships.
Ooh.
Love you. Bye.
That's where I disagree. We are basically therapists, and we can replace embodied community.
And
on
we
this show.
do love you.
Wow.
This is a good
Man.
episode. I feel like we should try it. Not today.
We got to have that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like that sounds like a really good discussion. How to heal from negative experiences in church. Man, I'm glad you guys are sticking with it, that you're not giving up. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that you were at that church.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very interested to hear more of like what it was like there. And I'm sorry that it was such a difficult
Yeah.
experience.
I think we should definitely do that episode in the future. So I think, if anyone has any other things they'd want to talk about with the realm of church hurt, please email us because we'd love to hear more stories on how, how we can talk about that.
I like that. If you have first, David, not this David, but emailer David. I'm so that sucks. I'm sorry that you guys are still walking through that, and hope you can find community to help you heal and stuff. But I think that is a good. Yeah, let's pull that thread in either next week or in a couple weeks. So if you're listening and you have questions in the umbrella of church hurt, or like some experiences or anecdotes or something to contribute to that conversation, we'd love to hear them. Send them in. But yeah, let's revisit this in a couple weeks or next week or something. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich Velotis quote that I love: we're wounded in community and we find our healing in community. So encouraging you guys as you move back to Indiana to be finding that church community, even though it is challenging maybe to find yourself opening up or to connect at church. Lean in, don't give up. God made you for this and for friendship and community. So we know you can do it.
And we'll have more thoughts later.
Tune in
Yes.
next time.
So, yeah. Cool.
Should we do
well,
a
thanks for
really-
writing in, dude.
A really left-hand turn to our next email.
Yeah, the next emails are totally different.
Do we have
and
a
this is-
natural transition? No, just go for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll transition.
This is the one we're going to spend the majority of the episode on today, discussing Christian art from Jake S. in Upland, Indiana.
Oh my goodness, I know that guy.
Yeah, one of your guys. Does he still live there or he moved?
He lives here.
Oh, yes. We got a Sammy boy. He emailed us at 1:17 a.m.
Go to bed.
So-
Whoa.
Was it last night?
No, it was a little while ago.
2:17? No.
But young man, you need your sleep. He said, recently, I've been doing a deep dive into obscure VeggieTales ripoffs
That's
Excellent.
a genre. That's a genre.
that,
Yeah.
that didn't do too well. Their success had little to do with their messages and more to do with their animation quality. It made me wonder, should Christian art be on the nose and in your face with its values, potentially driving people away? Or should it be coincidentally Christian in the hopes of reaching a wider audience? It becomes a dilemma of, what's the point if no one sees it or likes it? Versus, what's the point if it's not correct? I realize this question can also apply to how we preach in general. I would like to know your thoughts specifically on Christian art like VeggieTales. Oh, we got stuff to say about VeggieTales. That obviously has lessons and other pieces of media that have Christian biblical parallels and themes. P.S. I'm one of the few people who has an STN sticker.
Oh.
What do you mean few people? People bought these, okay? We offered free shipping and they're still available for sale. Not on
true.
Instagram though. Don't contact us on Instagram.
Do not.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever read that message, but
You can send us an
Yeah.
email at staircasepod@gmail.com and say, I would like to purchase a sticker.
Or
And it'll
come
get-
tap me on the shoulder.
or find David Neal or find me. Yeah. Was that the end of his email? Did he wrap up?
That's the email from Jake.
Okay. Cool. Whew. Lot there. No, where do we start? You've got the email
Okay,
in front of you.
do you guys want to start with VeggieTales and like what's good about it? Or do you want to start with the VeggieTales ripoffs?
Rip-offs.
We can do the rip-offs.
Sam is so excited for this.
This was circulated in our group chat. What was his name again? The email. I'm sorry.
Jake?
Jake. Yeah. What Jake was referencing was circulated in our group chat. I pulled some. This is obviously a podcast. It's not a video. Do you guys want to try to explain the visually?
Noah was the artist of the group. I want to hear his explanation.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So we did some research on what are these VeggieTales ripoffs. How could there be a VeggieTales ripoff? And we discovered.
How do you have a discount brand VeggieTales?
Right. I was like, is it other vegetables? But
It's fruit.
This show, a short-lived cartoon series, as the internet says, called Gaither's Pond.
Ooh.
And it was made by the nephew of the Gaither vocal band.
Love that.
And it was basically animated music videos of Gaither songs. And it's a pond, as the title says, and the characters are all fish and geese and frogs and the sun and
Other pond things. Yeah.
But how's the animation?
right. So they're all voiced by like Bill Gaither band, like Gaither vocal band people. So you've got Bill Gaither and Vestal Goodman and Mark Lowry. These
They got
big,
Vestal
Yeah.
Goodman in this.
big Christian names.
Those are
Yeah.
elite names. If you, yeah.
In the exact circle, it is a big deal. In one
Well-
specific circle.
And Vestal Goodman is playing Vestal Gooseman in this.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
And guys, that's what they did with basically this entire show. They not only like created these characters that are just parodies of the voice actors who are, these Christian celebrities in quotes. They also made the characters, even though they're different species, look like humans.
Yeah, they like superimpose their face. And it's really we'll link it in the show notes. It's rough.
Just imagine a fish with like a face that has very angular like jawline and like
facial hair.
eyebrows
Yeah.
and a man's goatee and
Yeah.
hair.
You
Yeah.
gotta be thinking of like late 90s. Late 90s anime, like computer graphics, right? Like,
Yeah, I
It's-
have some of the audio queued up. Obviously, you can't watch it. Just so you can get a taste of some of the dialogue and
Maybe I
stuff.
added a few words.
Please.
Okay, a lot of words, but don't worry, it was a great speech. I wrote it myself.
Don't you know that it's wrong to spread
That's
made
Vestal.
up stories like
At
this?
Vestal.
I'm not spreading them. I'm just typing them on my webpage. And anyway, I got some of the story right.
How do you figure that?
I spelled your name right, didn't I?
You get the idea.
Well, and that's the thing. Sam had to like look through this thing for a part that wasn't music because the scenes are just basically to get you to the next song.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also teach an important lesson along the way.
Yes. I think all the dialogue reinforces the ethics of the music of like here's the idea. There's like a song called Rumor Mill in that episode about not to be confused with rumor weed, but they just it's rough. We've done a good job setting the table. This is a bad animated series. Like
I mean,
Careful.
hey,
Yeah.
you know what? This show is still airing on TV.
Really?
What?
It is currently airing on the channel Smile of a Child at 6 a.m., 6:30, 3 p.m., and 3:30.
Let's talk
3
about
p.m.
this
and
channel
3:30.
called
Those are
Smile
good.
of a Child.
Wow.
Which is this Christian children's television channel that's on cable. It exists.
It's on
real.
cable. Wow.
It-
Okay.
It's definitely a cable show.
Oh, that is
Pluto.
gnarly.
Pluto.
So anyway, okay, we've set the table. Maybe this is what our listener was talking about when he said it didn't do very well. But why do you guys think this didn't do so well? Kind of what's wrong? What happened? It clearly has good messages for children, not to spread lies on their webpage.
That's not to spread lies on their webpage. Well, he asked some good because there's a couple things we could point to. What were some of the other questions he had in regards to Christian art in general? Because I think those will help answer the question as to why the Gaither.
Should Christian art be on the nose and in your face with its values, which potentially drives people away? Or should it be coincidentally Christian in the hopes of reaching a wider audience? It's a dilemma between what's the point if no one sees it versus what's the point if it's not correct?
Yeah. Which using this animated special as an example, very on the nose, right? Like the fish are like versions
Gaither vocal band members.
Our Gaither vocal, like we are fish versions of Christian celebrities, and we sing songs about the Bible, and then we teach lessons from the Bible, right? Like that's a very extreme on the nose thing, right? So I mean, I guess I definitely come from the thought of like actually more on a lot of times on the nose expressions of art don't do the best job of communicating what the art, like what you are, isn't the most effective way to communicate a feeling or communicate an idea, I guess. So I think I can come from the side that Christian art doesn't have to be explicitly Christian, depending on what the goal is of that art. Like depending on what the goal is you're trying to achieve, then that informs a lot of things. But so I think there's space for both of those. But I think I think art that's too on the nose is art that is a cliche and is like, I mean, that's like, you know, if you want to use that funny category, people call it like, you like motel art, right? Just like that super hyper realistic or on the nose versions of anything is just kind of written off as nothing really to write home about. So I don't know. I know we're going to talk and wax poetic about, you know, what is good art and stuff, but that's just something to start us off.
Yeah, I like Jake's question because I think that the answer basically depends on the audience, right? So like, of course you can have Christian art that is on the nose and in your face with values. Like if your goal is an audience of Christians, I even feel like a children's Christian television show is a great idea. Like we should have that, like to like teach Christian values to children. Great idea. It's just this one did it bad because it didn't live up to the standards of the art form, like namely animation quality, story, character design. Like there's a reason VeggieTales is good because it did all those things really well, and its audience was Christian kids, like sharing Christian values in the Bible. But if your audience is non-Christians or just a wider audience, then I think that it's important to present it in a compelling way. like in a way that's going to resonate with people's hearts and isn't going to appear preachy or trite. People will write that off no matter what the message is if it just seems so on the nose. So, of course, there's space for both. And when you're talking about art, like should is kind of a funny word. Like art can be anything depending on the audience, depending on the artist and the moment, what they're trying to communicate and what they want to do with it. So, yeah, there's multiple avenues there.
I think this is a good question to talk about because I think I almost want to look at it like there's different art and different reasons, right? So like as someone who's going to be or is currently a dad, my current dadhood will look different than my later dadhood. It's like I do want cheesy Christian things to show my children so that I can teach these lessons to them. But at the same time, I also want, and my example that I was going to talk about of my favorite, I would argue, Christian piece of art is Les Mis.
Ooh.
And to me,
Good example.
I think that is the exemplar. That and Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia would be exemplar of what it means to be good Christian art, right? Like they set a standard in their field and they communicate a philosophy, an ethic, a theology to mass audiences. And it would be, I would argue in its original form, unapologetic of what it is.
Yeah, you guys explain the Les Mis. Noah, you went yes. Like explain that because I want
to hear Noah's side. Yeah.
Like I just went like I'm gonna represent the folks listening that are like, what?
I don't know Les Mis.
I don't know Les Mis enough to see the apologetics of it.
There's people who listen to this podcast who aren't theater nerds.
I think we've missed the mark.
So yeah, Les Mis is. It's got such a beautiful scene that literally my pastor has referenced it twice in the past year in sermons.
Love
and
it.
The second time he's like, I'm going to use this illustration again.
Yeah.
But Jean Valjean, he stole a loaf of bread. He was in jail. Man, I'm forgetting stuff, whatever. But he gets out and he goes and he stays at the monastery with this priest. And the priest is like caring for him, but in the middle of the night, he leaves and he steals the priest's gold, like the stuff that belongs to the church. It's like the chalices and the church's gold stuff. And he escapes in the night. And then he gets arrested. They find him. And so he is taken back to the priest and they say, this is the man who stole your gold. And the priest looks at him and he knows what he did, but he says, friend, you left so quickly, you forgot the other gold. And he gives him the rest of it and says, go in peace. And he forgives him for what he did and then sends him off. And he becomes a changed man. And like his whole life is different from that moment. Even though he like is still being pursued by Javert. And but it's a beautiful moment of grace and how the grace changes someone's life. And it's in an unexpected place. Like Les Mis is a classic work of literature. It's a famous musical. And it's been read by unwilling high school students forever. And like there's so many people who just love the story in which a very explicitly Christian man forgives someone for stealing.
Well, and like so many shows and movies today make the man of the cloth evil, right? Like they make a priest. If there's a priest in a show, it's likely the bad.
He's the bad guy. Yeah.
Right? And this show, I would argue, is like what all Christians should be like, right? And even not to spoil the whole movie, but even the continual changed life, right? That he experiences to the end, right?
Yeah. I think, I really feel like, I mean, that's a great example of like, it's not a work that's set out to be like, I'm here trying to win souls to Jesus with this literature or with this musical, but it like communicates the truest thing about the Christian faith, right? Like the nature of forgiveness and reconciliation and redemption. and it does it kind of overtly or like, kind of like underhandedly in a way where you're just like, wow, why do I feel this? And it's just kind of beautiful. I think I would say, and I'm going to give some like caveats where I feel like, David, one of them you were talking about, I think like for children, like kids, just kind of the stage of development, like still like parables and stories are good, but that direct, like, this is the story, like this is what we want to teach you is true. I also think in like, I have this thought in like worship music. I think worship music should be beautiful, but it should also be kind of straightforward, like to where it's not like too many artistic liberties are taken to where we're like, wait, what are we saying here? Like sometimes it's
I'm
like,
a tree.
Yeah, it's like I've
the creatures in pursuit. Like what?
Yeah, I've sat through worship sets where I'm like, I love this idea, but I can't follow along like with what where we're getting at. Other than that, like talking about like maybe music, like literal like physical paintings, artwork, media, stuff like that. I really do think that Christians in the culture have almost been afraid to just put out good like good versions of stories, like good versions of art and stuff, because they don't want, like, they're almost afraid to not be on the nose or something. I don't know. I think there's almost like a fear there
That like our story is too Christian, maybe. They don't want
or
have their values too out front.
I don't know what I don't know. It's almost like you either have to market towards the evangelical subculture that is like, they just want the explicit or, just like want the
who's getting saved at the end.
The God's not dead. Like, just give me that version of a movie. But we don't have Christians making films that are just good, that like draw out those motifs of redemption and reconciliation. Like, and some secular movies do it because we're all like longing for that. I think our heart, we're hardwired to want to hear these stories of, of redemption and resurrection and all this stuff. So we even have like secular storytellers doing a better job at capturing the Christian story, like even if they do it on accident, because they're just like doing it that way. So I don't know. I think that art doesn't really serve a purpose. Like there's not a there sometimes, like, art is just beautiful to be beautiful sometimes, right? Like that is what, and I think God is about that. Like flowers don't really serve a function other than the fact that they are beautiful, right? Like they don't produce like food for us to eat, or like, I guess you'd say they're part of an ecosystem or whatever. But I think that like sometimes as Christians, we can be afraid of creating things that are beautiful just for the sake of them being beautiful. And the world misses out on that. We can get so caught up in do we have to be specific? Do we have to be like, I can't just paint a beautiful painting. The empty tomb has to be in the background of it as well. And I think when we do that, sometimes we just kind of miss out on the breadth of what it means to be creative people and creators and stuff. So that's me kind of trying to circle some of these ideas, why I can get passionate about it, because I want people just to feel free to create and put good things into the world.
Yeah. God is a gratuitously beautiful creator. Like he chose to make a creation that is just like beautiful when it doesn't need to be, And so it is good for us to image our creator by creating such beauty in the world, especially in a world of sin and of brokenness. Like to give glimmers of hope through a painting, through a show that makes you laugh. Like all of that is so beneficial and good. And I think that maybe in our good desire to preach the gospel, we've kind of gotten hung up on, does this art preach the gospel, instead of like, does the testimony of my life as an artist preach the gospel? And I think that the conversation that you're going to have with someone is going to be way more beneficial for them coming to faith in Christ rather than a film or a show. And so I hope that you would talk to them about it, but maybe it's some cop out too to think, oh, if we just make good TV shows, then we don't have to talk to them. Then they'll just get the gospel passively by us controlling the airwaves.
I do think I'm going to bring up a touchy subject. The Chosen. I know some people absolutely love it and some people absolutely hate it. And I'm not going to share my opinion on the show.
I think you already did in season 1, so.
And I don't remember what it was.
Oh, so. Well, then you have to go back and figure it out. The issue I am going to bring up is it becomes a crutch for people where instead of being willing to have a gospel conversation, they're just like, oh, watch this, right? And so I've seen that in some situations where, and maybe it's helpful because it gives words to people who can't explain the gospel, but I think I've seen it become a crutch. I don't know. It's a half thought. That's our show, Half Thoughts.
It's a staircase to nowhere. That's our promise.
Yeah.
I mean, good art is art that encourage you to think, right? Or like draws you out of yourself. For like, that's where I feel like art does a good job for me. When I feel like pulled out of my own head and brought into I'm challenged to think about a new idea, or I'm challenged to think about what is grief or grace or hope or something from a new angle because a story illustrates it or an image illustrates it. And that's where, if you only like art is, let's just pick one of these intangible categories, like, love or forgiveness. Like as an artist, what you're constantly trying to do is like kind of like reorient that idea so that people see it from a new angle, so they appreciate it with a different, appreciation with a deeper or starker or like whatever, trying to turn up the contrast. So you're like, wow, I really see more clearly what it means to love somebody through this art. Right. And that can be through all these different mediums. And I think when we limit ourselves to just saying to love somebody is to give them a hug, like if we're just so on the nose with that, then we miss all the facets of what it means. Right. And that's why beautiful stories and beautiful series can like really be that are not Christian, that aren't written by Christians, can help us appreciate these different things through like examine emotions and the realities of the world, the truth of God, that is like just through different lenses. So I think we're at our best as Christians when we have a really firm grasp on what, like, you could say what the story of God is, and we can take our energy and efforts and invite the world to consider that story through our art and our actions in different ways, in ways that will resonate with different people. Praise God that The Chosen resonates with like people this way, but then like also recognize it doesn't resonate with everybody the same way. And like we need different artists carving out different inroads to the gospel, like, because people are different. And I do think there's a place for like explicit, like, I am giving you an explicit version of the gospel through my art. Like, I think that there's a place there, but I think we're just like afraid, kind of what you were talking about, Noah, like afraid of being wasteful with our art or talent if we're not explicitly Christian enough. But I think the invitation is just like, no, like art is wasteful, right? Like you could, in a sense, like if you go to a beautiful cathedral and you see all the intricacies and the paintings and like the icons, if you're like, what a waste of time, money, and manpower. If you're but it's like, actually, no, beauty is not a waste. Like that is
worship.
It's worship. And, the things that you put out into the world that are beautiful are not wasteful. They're making the world a better place. And I think that somehow that has that has a redeeming quality too in the world. So I'm just kind of I feel like we have enough of the on the nose Christianity. And that's like, I think, were all of Jesus's parables confusing for a reason? Because it was like, if I just tell you this thing, it's not as impactful as me, like kind of beating around the bush a little bit, drawing you in, making you think about it. And then when people come to that realization, that just kind of unlocks something in your mind and in your heart. So, I don't know.
Can I take a moment to disassemble my own previous argument?
Really? He's done with that argument.
Well, in the sense of I was thinking about if right behind me is a Lord of the Rings Lego set, a very big one. And part of the reason I love Lord of the Rings is it actually can become an on-ramp for gospel conversations, right? Because Lord of the Rings is such a critically acclaimed thing. And so it like we were saying, like it is a conversation starter of, well, do you know about the faith of, like there's clearly Christian values sewn into the work. And so I think, maybe the nuance of like, oh, there's a time and a place, just like you were saying, for different levels of Christian media, right? I think that's honestly to have a staircase to somewhere. I know we're not there yet, but my staircase to somewhere is there's a time and a place for all sorts of different Christian art.
It's
subtle
contextual.
and in your face. Yep.
Yeah, because Tolkien and Lewis, like Narnia and Lord of the Rings, right? Like they had disagreements. Like Tolkien was like, "You're way too on the nose. What are you talking about? The lion dies and comes back to life again to defeat the
Killed
evil
by
winter?
the evil witch."
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, we get it. Like, they were writing around at the same time and had disagreements about like, how do you communicate this good news?
Right.
Like, well, and I would say both of those have equally impacted the world in different ways, like you were just saying. And I think what you're saying is really wise, David, because it's not like I wouldn't want to discourage anybody from putting art out there or pursuing art if they're like, I want to put out art that is on the nose. Like, do it. Like, don't. I think I want to encourage
make
the person.
Next Gaither Pond.
Yes,
just
make the next
animate
Gaither
it
Pond.
well.
It's helping
Honestly,
some
yeah.
kid at 3 p.m. on the Smile Network.
Of a child.
Like somewhere out there. I don't want to be the guy dogging on art, right? Like just be like, yeah, put it out there. I think I can want to encourage the people that are like, well, I feel I'm a Christian and I want to make XYZ, but I don't really want to make another version of the Passion of the Christ. Like, is there still a place for me? It's like, yes, absolutely. Like put the thing out there. You know what I mean? Like let your faith inform how you write, how you treat the people you work with, the type of the type of things you highlight, what you're drawing people into. And even if your episode or your, podcast or your painting doesn't end with, Jesus ascending or whatever, like it's okay. Like put it out there and just keep doing it. So yeah, I think you're right, David. Like acknowledging that, yeah, there's different times for different things. And if you do feel called to make the on the nose stuff, praise God, do it well. Right. Like I think a lot of times what we were talking about with the Gaither Pond thing is like, we can use our Christian message as an excuse to lower the standard for the actual medium that we're using. Like, it's like, instead of writing a good, well, let's just make fun of our podcast for a second. Like we could say, well, we're just trying to get the message out. We don't really need to put in, like, let's just get on the show, say the thing, but not really put any work into like the quality or like, I think it benefits everything when we try to dial in our craft, and it's like a good thing. We don't need to say, well, we're just Christians. We're just focused on saying this. Like we're kind of artists too. We're trying to do a good job with stuff.
Yeah. There's a book by Andy Crouch called Culture Making. And his argument is basically the way to change the world is by making stuff. You can't just criticize other stuff and say, the whole culture is so broken. You have to create more stuff. And so, yes, we need Christian artists to go make stuff, and we need all the genres of it. I think the reason why Smile of a Child shows this really not good show 4 times a day is because there's just a dearth of Christian animated content for children. And they're like, here's a show that was made in 1997 with a few big names. Like, why isn't anyone making a better show? Seems like there's a market for it on this cable network and all the homeschool kids who watch it. So,
Amen. Shout out
but
to
I
my
was
people.
just thinking while you guys were talking about like the most important Christian art that we have is the Bible, right? It is a work of art because it's literature, and it's the most important because it was divinely inspired. Like it's God's work partnering with humans. And I just think even about like the three main like genres of scripture that there are. One is discourse, in which they're very clearly like God is love, or the wages of sin is death. It's a letter, it's the law, it's like clear proclaiming. But most of the Bible's narrative, and God chose to reveal himself to humanity through telling stories about broken people like David and Moses and the people of Israel and the disciples of Jesus. And when we read these narratives, we find out what God is like. And the other main genre is poetry. And so I just think about Christian art, like, especially when we're talking about movies or shows, like, that's an opportunity to join the narrative. Like, we're crafting stories and we're creating characters and plots. And through these stories, we get to reveal something about who God is, what the world is like, what grace is. And it doesn't need to be as explicit as discourse is, but TV shows and movies aren't discourse genre. A sermon is a discourse genre. A speech in a book is discourse, but a narrative in a TV show, it's a story. And so it takes a different amount of work. And so I'm thankful for Tolkien and Lewis and other artists who created narratives that are informed by our Christian worldview and Christian story. And so I think that is what's important. If you're going to make a show, you got to make a show. You got to tell a story. You got to have a narrative. You got to have characters who are flawed, just like humans, but maybe who are being redeemed by Jesus, maybe who are building a better world and are a part of God's redemptive story.
Yeah. I'll and I would encourage everyone, like, we're circling this idea, right, of all truth is God's truth, all beauty is God's beauty. Like, go put beauty and truth in the world, and where you see it, like, point it out and give glory to the person, to the one who is the source of it, right? Like when Breaking Bad pulls out themes of forgiveness and redemption and falling from grace, like, don't just go, oh, that's sad. Like, recognize that's pulling something out of us that is something bigger, that we're like, gosh, like, even when we see things that are true in the world through art, through creation, through beauty that's put out there, whether explicitly Christian or not, like, give glory to the source of it all, right? When we we're not just saying, yeah, just go. I wouldn't, like, the point is not, like, the point of appreciating art that is in even the secular world is, I would say, is to point secular people to the true source of like why they think that is beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, pointing people back to the true artist and the true creator, even in our conversations with our friends and our lost neighbors and stuff. So I think I just want to mention that note too, that it's not just to put it out there to say it. It's also like, yeah, recognize it so we can point people back to the actual source of all of this and give him worship and glory and stuff.
Yeah. I want to point us to article by Dorothy Day. Nope, not Dorothy Day. Dorothy Sayers, another famous Dorothy.
Nice.
My first thought was Dorothy Dix. It's not Dorothy Dix, not Dorothy Day. It's Dorothy Sayers, who was friends with Tolkien and Lewis. And she has this article called Why Work? And you can look it up online yourself, and it's free. But it just talks about why we do any type of work, including art, because that was her work. She was a playwright. And she's got a quote in here from Jacques Martin that says, if you want to produce Christian work, be a Christian and try to make a work of beauty in which you have put your heart. Do not adopt a Christian pose. And she gives an illustration from her play in which she did this play with these angels. It was a play called The Zeal of My House. of the zeal of thy house. And a woman asked afterwards, she loved the play. She was a Christian lady. She asked if the actors who played the angels were selected for the excellence of their moral character. And she was like, no, the actor playing the angel doesn't have to be moral to be an angel. Like, the point is that they can carry the wings and that they can stand strong for 2.5 hours and that they can speak. Like, the point is they have to be good actors. They have to have technical ability. And she pulls this all together to say, God is not served by technical incompetence. And for us to create Christian art, we serve God through our work, through doing work in the way that it's meant to be done, the way that the art form calls for. And so whatever you're doing, whatever kind of art, you've got to do it at the level of the art. Bad photography, bad acting, bad dialogue, she said, would bring Christianity into contempt. God is not served by our incompetence. So find a person who's a Christian, praising God by the excellence of his work. Let him serve God in the way in which God has called him. Do not distract him, take him away from his vocation to volunteer in church bazaars. If you have any power, see that he's set free to do his own work as well as it may be done. He's not there to serve you. He's there to serve God by serving his work. And that's all of work, but that's art as well. Let's unleash the Christian artists to do their work in a way that serves God. They're not there to serve us or our ideas for them, but to serve God by doing the work that he's called them to do.
Beautiful note to end on, Noah. Love it. Did we answer his question? David, you muted yourself.
I sneezed earlier and I forgot to unmute myself.
David's been monologuing this whole time. And he's just like, oh yeah, I forgot. Do you guys what do you add to that quote though? Like, that was great. I don't know.
I think we got it.
I've said everything I have to say. I feel like I'm done. I'm tapped. I have no more art to give. I have no more art to give the users.
All right. Well, let's just have one staircase to somewhere.
I already did mine.
Say it again.
There's a time and a place for all art, and nuance and in your face. It depends. Contextualization is key. Man, that is such a. I mean, honestly, it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah. Hey, you give the. I would say, whenever you see beauty and truth in the world, ascribe glory to the author of it. Right, like orient your heart and the people around you to give glory to God when you see things that are true and beautiful.
Yeah, and create good art by the standards of the craft. Don't just think, because I'm a Christian, that people should put up with it. It'll err on smile of a child 4 times a day, even though it was bad and 30 years old.
Set the standard. Yes.
Set the standard. God is not served by your technical incompetence. We should be leaders in the craft, especially because of our love for God.
Well, if you want to comment on the technical beauty of our podcast, feel free to email us.
We are leaders in the craft of podcasting.
I was on a call with Joe Rogan the other day because he was asking me, how do you podcast? Because I want to be like you. That's what he was saying. So
he said, can you text Conan and let him know? Because he needs the help too.
He also needs the help. But if you want to get a hold of us, staircasepod@gmail.com. You can email us, record a voice memo, send it, or type it out, or whatever. Or come find one of us in a hallway somewhere. So, all right. That's all I have. I'm signing off. Good night and good morrow.
Make good choices.
Bye.